take your job for the super. I used to look for cheap vintage pens from the early 1900s to 1950s. Many didn't hold ink, but were great for dipping and drawing. Those are not fountain pens. A fountain pen has to hold ink and write without an inkwell, right? This is a dip pen. It does not hold ink inside. It's just a barrel. It's just a stick with a nib on it. This is a dip pen. These are not fountain pens. Even though it has a nib, it looks really similar. It doesn't have an ink cartridge inside or a converter, or it doesn't hold ink inside. Glass pens too are not fountain pens. These are dip pens because you dip them because they don't have a fountain coming out. Yeah, they are not the same thing. They are not calligraphy pens. Calligraphy dip pens and fountain pens are two different things. They are not one and the same. They're not one and the same. Just because you use a fountain pen doesn't mean you do calligraphy. They're actually just like a ballpoint pen. It's for normal people to write words with. Calligraphy dip pens are for people who do calligraphy. So just don't get those two things mixed up. They're very, very different. Yeah, it's quite the rabbit hole. Not really, because back only like for 100 years ago, about 100 years ago, ballpoint pens didn't exist. It didn't exist, so everybody used a fountain pen. It's just like the ballpoint pen of the day. It was meant as an item of convenience. The only reason it died out is because the eve of the ballpoint pen. So no longer do people need to use them. And so they've largely been replaced. But there's a group of very passionate people like me and others who really, really love to use the older stuff because it's fun and it's a much more pleasant writing experience for a lot of us. Yeah. It's like, it takes no pressure at all for the ink to come out. So it's very, very nice if you have arthritis or if you have joint problems and you don't want to bear down when you're writing. It's very, very nice. Very, very different writing experience. Yes. Is it real that a lot of Americans can't or have hard time writing cursive? Yes. They don't teach it anymore. They don't teach cursive in the school curriculum anymore. So there's a whole generation of people who can't write cursive. I moved around too much, so I kept missing the cursive curriculum. So I never actually learned how to properly write cursive. So I only print. The teachers gave up. People just didn't know what to do with it. Some people just never really use it later. But slowly they're bringing back the curriculum because they found out that with cursive, it kind of helps build pathways in the brain that helps you learn things faster. So that's why they're bringing it back. But for a long time, for like a good 8 years, 10 years, kids did not learn cursive in schools. Yes. I moved around too much in my youth years, so I didn't actually get to stay for cursive curriculum. I went to different countries and stuff, so I didn't actually get to experience cursive, and that's why I don't write very well in cursive. Sorry, I don't know how this water got all over the page, but here we are. My cursive is so bad now. Yeah, I only print. I exclusively print, and yet I use a fountain pen. Yeah. Cursive is easier, not for me, because I never actually properly learned it. It just didn't stick. I'm also autistic, by the way, if that wasn't obvious. I'm also autistic, like unironically. So so I just some things just don't stick with me, chat. Yeah. The cursive didn't stick. The cursive just didn't stick with me, chat. I just print.
My fellow brothers, in the face of our common dangers, in this winter of our hardship, remember these timeless words, as we can.